This is WOLA Demonstration 4, invoking an existing CICS application from a WAS ZOS servlet or an EJB. For this demonstration, we'll use the WOLA CV01 sample, which is a basic COBOL CICS program that accepts its parameters in a COM area and then echoes those parameters back in the same COM area. This gives us an opportunity to demonstrate how the CICS link server support works in WOLA. As you'll see on this diagram, the application server, once enabled for WOLA support, can be used by applications to connect to existing CICS programs using several methods within the JCA adapter wola.rar. On the connection spec impl, there's a method called setRegisterName, and here we've selected a register name of WOLA server. Also on the connection spec impl, there is a CICS specific method called setLinkTaskTranID. This does not have to be used. The default will be BBO pound, but if the application wishes to, it can override BBO pound and place another CICS tran ID there. That also must map to the WOLA supporting load module. On the interaction spec impl, the setServiceName method is where the application provides the name of the target program. That's the 8-character CICS target program name. As you'll see in the bottom part of this picture, the CICS transaction server address space must have the CICS link server support running. And that is represented here by the BBO dollar task. So you would need to use the BBOC control transaction to start up any number of BBO dollar link server tasks with any number of registration names. In this example here, we're showing a BBOC start server RGN equals WOLA server. And when this starts up, also passed on the BBOC parameter list is the name of the daemon group, the node, and the server name we're connecting to, as well as the name of the service we're going to act under. And we'll demonstrate this momentarily. BBO dollar will then start up a BBO pound task each time a request comes in based on its registration and service name. And the BBO pound task is then the program that actually does an exec-CICS link to the target program. Here, the name of the target program is WOLA CV01. BBO pound provides support for passing parameters in a COM area, or should the application have specified that it wished to pass the parameters in a container, BBO pound will pass the contents of the parameters in a container. The name of the container may be designated by the application through a resource adapter method. The way this is all supported under CICS is through a task-related user exit supplied called BBOA_true. This is how WOLA operates under CICS, essentially as if it is a resource adapter in the CICS address space. So we'll now go ahead and get started on the demonstration 4, showing you how to call an existing COBOL CICS target program from a WAS servlet. We'll now take you through WOLA Demonstration 4, showing how to drive an existing COBOL CICS program from a WAS servlet or EJB using our resource adapter and the WOLA support. The first thing you need to do in the CICS region is make sure that the task-related user exits are already running. These are well documented in the info center. Essentially, it's just a BBOC start true command that needs to be issued on the CICS panel or through a CICS program list table or PLT post-initialization program. Once you've got WOLA installed in CICS and you've got it obviously installed in WebSphere, you can then start up a link server. Here's an example, BBOC STA, which is short for start server, registration name WOLA server, daemon group name Sci1, node Sci1, server name BBOS001, and service name is asterisk, which indicates that this link server is listening under all service names or all program names effectively underneath the registration name of WOLA server. The trace level is set to 2, which is the finest level of trace. And the trace messages go out to the CICS transient data queue BBO queue. The DD name out in the CICS job is called BBO out. So we'll go ahead and start this. There'll be a message responding to this coming back indicating whether the server was started successfully or not. Start server completed successfully. We'll then do a CEMT inquire task. The master terminal transaction will look at the task has started, BBO dollar has started. Now we switch over to the CICS BBO out file in the CICS job, and we see, since we're running with trace level 2, there's a lot of verbose messages coming out here to indicate what's happening. You can see our request here, BBOC start, RGN, OLA server, etc. All the parameters are listed here. We go through a registration, happens under the covers within BBOC, associated with that registration name to validate that it can register under that name with that server. And after that, a start server occurs and the BBO pound transaction is started. And you can see it's going to start under BBO pound. That can also start under a different tran ID if you wish to. There's a parameter for BBOC start server that allows BBO dollar to run under a different tran ID. If you don't change that, it will default to BBO dollar, and the link transaction will default to BBO pound, as you can see here. Here we page down. There are some further messages coming up. You'll notice on the left-hand side of the screen, the BBOC transaction finished here. That's the control transaction we just ran. And in the background, a BBO dollar task started here under task number 47. So the BBO dollar task has started up. It's out running now as a background CICS task, initiated by task 46, which would be BBOC. The registration name is OLA server. The service name is asterisk. The link tran ID is BBO pound. The user it's running under is Kix user, and it's obviously running under trace level 2. So we'll now switch to our test panel that we've used earlier for earlier demonstrations. Here, this is the OLA sample 1 web, which is shipped as a sample in the OLA samples directory. The EAR file for this is shipped. And once you've installed and activated this application, you bring up this panel. You tab down into the test data and you type in a string that you'd like to send to any service you wish to call. Obviously, this can be used for anything, not just the Kix link server, but any service in any external address space. Here, we're going to use it for the Kix link server testing for this, so we're specifying registration name OLA server. We're specifying OLA service name of OLA CB01. That's the COBOL program we're going to call. And down here you see there are some defaults related to CICS and the link server that we're not demonstrating at the moment. If you wish to, you can click the use containers, specify container name to carry the request data in, the container name to get the response data out, and you can also override the Kix link task tran ID, which I showed you on the introduction charts. We're not specifying any of these in this particular scenario. We're just going to pass this data over to the link server running under OLA server, and it's going to drive OLA CB01. So if you click on Run WAS External Address Space Test, you will go ahead and run this. The message has come back, echoed back. BBOQ, or the BBO out file in the Kix job log, we'll see messages here indicating that a request has come in, and here you'll notice that the BBO pound task has started. So the BBO dollar task started a BBO pound task, and if we continue on, you'll notice that it's initiated for service name OLA CB01 under registration name OLA server. We look down a little bit further in the log. You'll see that a link has occurred to program OLA CB01 with a COM area, and it was successful. The response came back, and the response was sent back to the requester on the WAS side. So a very simple scenario demonstrating how to call an existing COBOL program from an application running in WebSphere Application Server ZOS using the WOLA support.